Welcome to Aiken This Week. I'm Emery Langston. I'm being joined today by Avery Spears Mahoney, who is the Executive Director of Aiken Downtown Development Association, and Jenny Burghardt, who is our Tourism Supervisor for the City of Aiken. This morning, as you can see, we're in the alley, and today we're going to be talking about capital project sales tax initiatives that have been going on throughout the city. And this is probably the most visible project that we've had going on for many, many months. So we're just so pleased to have you both on today, both very familiar faces with Aiken This Week, to just talk a little bit about this project. So Avery, we're going to start with you, and this has been a highly visible project over many, many months. So can you talk about the improvements that this has had to downtown?
Absolutely. Obviously, the alley has always been a very popular spot in downtown Aiken, and people enjoy being in this space. But with the improvements, we've seen a lot more pedestrian traffic within the space, and people are really just mixing and mingling, as they're going to restaurants or businesses within the alley and enjoying the space as a pedestrian area. Yeah,
it really has lends itself to like an outdoor room feel and just a place where you can be a little bit more comfortable in this space.
Right. There was a lot of attention to the design to make it pedestrian friendly. So and I think that they, succeeded in this project in doing so.
And with there's some subtle changes, I think, with the improvements. Obviously, some very large ones. But the utilities now, you don't see the utilities as you're walking through this space.
Right, and they partnered with SCE&G on that project to underground the utility lines, which has been a huge improvement visually.
Sure. Makes it just as clear as it can be. So, Jenny, let's talk for a minute about the impact that this has had for our tourists visiting our city and for our local residents.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think what's good for tourists is typically really good for the residents as well.
Yes.
So similar to what Avery said, just having a place that's pedestrian only, where people feel free to walk around, meander, look around, find out the history behind the buildings here, and eat outside. That's good for residents and tourists alike, because it just gives that feel of charm that everybody loves about Aiken.
Yes, indeed, and it's just been so nice. So the project really kind of began right around Farmers Market last year, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah.
So this year for Farmers Market, we had a whole new layout.
Right.
So a lot more fun things to come, and I know Farmers Market's always been, this was our third year. Third year.
Yep.
So what an impact it had to be able to utilize a smooth surface as far as mobility, I'm sure. And did you have any comments from our vendors and the folks who came through Farmers Market?
Yeah, I mean, just, one other little change was there's electricity on all of the light poles now. And so that's great for events like the Farmers Market. Runs that, we've already had some runs that have come through the alley that maybe wouldn't have previously, and things like that. So it really opens up this space to more opportunities, and gives people another way to access things that would be more difficult previously.
Sure.
And I think once the shade trees get a little bigger, that'll help with events in the space and lend a little shade to all of the situations that we may have throughout the alley.
Well, wonderful. Well, we look forward to all the wonderful things that are to come for this new area, and I really appreciate both of you taking a few minutes this morning to talk with us about this project. Well, I'm here at the Public Safety Training Ground facility with Captain Brian Brazier.
Hey, how are you?
And thanks for taking a few minutes out of your schedule today to talk to us about the facility. And this is yet another one of our capital project sales tax initiatives that we've been working on. So, and a lot of improvements to talk about today. So, Captain Brazier, let's talk generally about the improvements.
Well, basically what we did is we had a structural integrity engineering come out and looked at our tower to make sure it was the integrity was good enough for our firefighters to use. Once they determined it was still stable enough for us to use, we Did a lot of cleanup, scraping the metal and painting, replacing some handrails around, and we even added a engineered anchor point for our officers and rescue members and firefighters to be able to rappel off the top of the tower.
Oh, okay. It looks like a brand new structure.
It does. It definitely changed the appearance of it, and it's a lot safer than it was before.
Well, that's really good to know. So who all uses the entire facility?
Well, with our facility, including the training tower and our burn building, as you see in the background, our officers use it for firefighting, simulating structure fires. We use it for search and rescue. Our SWAT team uses it for doing building clearing, and then we offer it available to all the volunteer departments across the county should they need to use it for fire training purposes.
Sure. What a wonderful asset to have right here in our county.
Definitely. It saves a lot of people a lot of money with travel and things
Sure.
like that. If they would have to go to a burn building, they would have to travel out of the county to find another burn building in the state somewhere if they had
Yes,
to.
and that was going to be another question I had because of these wonderful facilities. I know if we didn't have this, they would have to travel.
Most of them would either go to the Fire Academy, which is located in Columbia, or Lexington County also has a burn building facility.
Sure, sure. Well, this is just a really impressive structure, and it's not something that folks really get to ever see. It's kind of off the beaten path, and
It is. It's kind of tucked away back here, and it's our little secret we kind of keep back here. But again, we make it available to people that
Sure.
need to use it.
Sure. Well, it's a beautiful addition to the training opportunities that we have right here.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we made it to the top of the training tower to take a look at our engineered anchor point that the firemen use for rappelling. We tried to get Emery to come up, but as you can see,
Okay, we have made it inside the burn building, Captain Brazier. And what I'm noticing in this room where we are the panels that are on the walls. So can you, and I know that that's part of the renovation that went into this building. So
That's
if you
correct.
could talk to us a little bit about that.
well, we use our burn building to simulate a house fire for the firefighters to be able to train and actually get experience before they actually have to do the real thing. So it's a controlled environment basically, but you know, without having a building you can burn to the ground
Right.
for training, we have to protect our structure some kind of way. So we put these fireproof panels in our burn room, and that way we can simulate a fire. These panels will last somewhere 7 to 10 years, just depending on how much time is actually burnt in each individual burn room. And as you can see, these are fairly clean. We hadn't had a burn in this room yet.
Okay, well, I tell you what, would it be okay if we could go and take a look at one that y'all have done a burn in?
Sure.
Okay, let's do that.
As you can see in this room, we've had several burns in. You notice the discoloration where the heat has been held in the room.
Right.
Again, we keep these windows closed as the firemen come in, and we build a fire in these baskets. And just be able to simulate actually coming into a building with a room on fire and being able to put out a room and contents fire.
Sure, and they have all of their gear on, all of that, everything that they need, and it really, I can't even imagine.
Well, yeah, it's, you know, they're complete protective equipment, turnout gear, air pack, flash hood, helmet, gloves. It adds about 40 or 50 pounds to them, and of course you can imagine as hot as it's been here this summer,
Oh my
what kind of
gosh.
situation we'd be in should we have a fire.
Sure, sure. But what a wonderful asset that we have this, that we can do the training here locally, and then our guys are just really well trained to be able to go into different types of situations.
Well, this building and our training tower also helps us with our ISO rating. Of course, we are an ISO Class 2, which is very good rating for the city of Aiken and its citizens. So having these facilities helps us maintain that ISO rating
And
also.
I know that is very important.
Yes.
Well, Captain Brazier, I know that there is also a fire maze in this facility.
Yeah, we have a maze that we put the guys through to get them where they have to deal with some different situations they might run into during an actual fire.
Okay.
We can go take a look at that.
That'd be great. Let's do that.
So this is our maze room. Basically what we do is we have our firemen, again, like we talked about, in full protective equipment with their air pack on. And this maze is built to simulate different situations they might run into during an actual fire. Whether it be the attic maze, going across the rafters in an attic, down through an attic chute on the other end, like you have you drop downstairs. So if they were up in an attic and had to get out, that would show them how to do that. Underneath that part of it is our entanglement maze. So if they're going through a wall or having to do a search and they get hung up on any type of electrical wires or anything like that, we can actually simulate that here in a controlled environment and get them used to being able to get untangled from it.
Sure.
Then we have some different things. We have our chute box is just a long square box to make them understand that even with that air pack on and all that gear, they can get into some tight places, but not so much getting into them. The key is to be able to get out of them.
Right. Sure.
Without panicking. So they have to understand that you have to control your breathing and be able to take care of yourself in a situation like that. Then we have our small tunnel, just a tube that we kind of get them, again, put them in some confined spaces to make them understand that they can control in the way they turn their body, how they can move into certain situations. And then lastly, we have our studded wall prop. And you'd be surprised how a fireman can fit through studs on a wall that are only 16 inches on center.
Yeah, I was just thinking, you know, with all the protective gear on that they have, the 40 or 50 pounds.
Right.
And then your guys are, you know, they're not small guys.
No, most of us aren't. We eat good at the firehouse.
Well, and I'm looking at this space going, that is really small.
Well, there's a couple different ways they can do it. They can actually sit with their back in it and put their arms through it like they're swimming, called the swim move.
Okay.
Or if they're good enough, they can sling their air pack to the side and actually squeeze right through, putting their air pack first, and then squeezing through it and then putting their pack back on.
Sure.
So again, it's just a simulated training environment. We can make our guys safe when they're fighting these fires that we have.
Yes, yes. And then when they're in here in the simulation, this room is smoked.
Yes, we don't burn any material on this side because of course there's no fireproof panels or anything like that.
Sure.
You can see where it's been discolored by the smoke that we put in here, but we either use an artificial smoke machine or we'll just put a barrel with some hay, wet hay, and let it smoke it up so they get used to that environment.
Sure. Boy, this really puts into perspective the training that's necessary, and then thinking about a real live incident that may occur, just what these guys and gals have to go through and the training that's necessary. And this is not for the faint of heart by any stretch of the imagination. So,
I'll say it takes a special person to be a public safety officer, and we got some real good ones in the city.
yes, and we are so fortunate because we do have so many good ones. Captain Brazier, thank you so much for giving us a tour of the facility today and seeing what capital project sales tax initiatives are doing, knowing that we have this wonderful facility here. Is there anything that we haven't talked about that you wanted to mention before we end our tour?
Well, you know, October's coming up, which is Fire Safety Month right around the corner. I encourage everyone to be sure if you have smoke detectors, be sure you change your batteries. Also, if your smoke detectors getting close to 8 to 10 years old, you probably need to replace it because they get kind of like us. Our reactions get slower as we get older. Well, the same thing for a smoke detector.
Sure.
So if they're starting to get some age on them, I encourage you to go ahead and replace them and keep your house safe.
Very good, very good. So we hope all of you will do that with October coming. So again, Captain Brazier, thank you so much. Well, I'm here with Jessica Campbell, who is the director of Aiken Parks, Recreation, and Tourism. And Jessica, you're a familiar face to Aiken this week, and we're so glad to have you back. But with the theme being capital project sales tax, we're so happy to be here at Citizens Park today. And we talked about the inception of these projects back in March. So now here we are, and we're able to see the beautiful finished product of this particular one. So let's talk about this.
Yeah, we're so excited that it's finally here and put together. We've added approximately 1 mile of walking trail here at our Citizens Park complex. gives us about a total of 3 miles when you add it to what was already on site. And it's very exciting how it connects the trails within Citizens Park as well as the different locations, from our batting cages to Citizens Park 3, Citizens Park 2, and back around even next to our administrative office. We have some trails going through. So it's wonderful for the users of the park to be able to get to those locations via the trail, while they're here enjoying our programs.
Absolutely. I have been able to participate in some activities out here and really have seen moms and dads using the trails while their children are practicing, and it's just a wide range of users.
Certainly, we have seen, and it's wonderful because I can view it right outside my office window, people walking, jogging, running. We have bicyclists, we have dog walkers, and we have the families bringing their child with the bicycle, learning on their training wheels how to ride a bike. So it's very exciting to see the different users.
Sure.
And the path leads to just great scenery, and we have some nice shade in certain areas as well. So it's exciting that we're able to offer some additional ways for people to get out and be physically active here in Aiken.
Sure. Well, and it's such a nice wide surface, so many different types of users can use it at one time.
Yeah, definitely.
So it makes it really, really nice. Well, tell us how do the trails fit into the Citizens Park master plan?
Citizens Park was master planned with some walking trails. What we're missing out at this time is the perimeter of the actual complexes. We'd like to have some trails that actually go around the fence line of our outfields. However, this was a gateway to get to that point, hopefully in the future. So it's definitely fit within the master plan, and we still have a little ways to go to see it to its completion. What we're super excited about with this phase is we're able to connect the DOT trail, which borders Pine Log Road. And so we have 2 connection points with our new addition, and one will take pedestrians right along the Banks Mill Road. So it's exciting to be able to keep the users off the highway as they continue their journey down Banks Mill Road. They're able to utilize our trail straight off of Pine Log. The second location where it connects is here on Barry Johnson Boulevard, and it takes someone off of Pine Log straight into the park. And again, it's just wonderful to be able to have those 2 connection points with that state bike path.
Sure. We've heard over the past several years just how important pedestrian paths are for our citizens. Mm-hmm. So this is really providing that, and so let's talk about the healthy aspect of it. I mean, obviously it's a trail and you're going to get your exercise on it, but talk about that a little bit for us.
Certainly, we encourage everyone to come out and use this as they would like to. Again, whether they're a walker, a jogger, a bicyclist. We do have some 5Ks that are ran within our park, and we hope to see some of the new trails incorporated in those runs. But there's plenty of opportunity with 3 miles to incorporate whatever type of exercise an individual wishes to do, whether it's roller skating or even just pushing a stroller with your child,
sure.
A jogging stroller. We encourage it all. You don't have to be a participant in our programs to utilize
right.
a trail like this.
So, well, again, so exciting to be able to finally
yes.
see it. This is great. Well, thank you for taking a few minutes here, and we're going to take a few minutes and see some exciting things that are going to be on the horizon at Perry Park.
Exciting. Thank you for having me.
Well, Jessica and I are now at Perry Park, and this project is in the very early stages, the initial stages of the restroom project at Perry Park, and this is something that's been in the works for a while. So it's a beautiful day out here at Perry Park, and we can envision what is going to be
right.
on the horizon, Jessica. So tell us about the partnership that it took us to get this project this far.
Certainly. Perry Park is a unique partnership already within itself. The city partners with the school district for this property, and the PRT maintains the grounds. We mow the lawn and pick up the trash, and we also rent the facility for different programs and events. So to partner with putting an actual building on site, a restroom facility, we had to go through the school district and get approval for the building since it was being actually constructed on their property. There were some hiccups along the way that really held up the progress of this project, unfortunately. And ultimately what has happened is we purchased a small portion of the land, the footprint of where the restroom will be built, which is approximately here on this site. The city was able to purchase that, thankfully through the partnership with the local Aiken County School District's office. And so that's been wonderful to now have that in place and to be able to move forward, hopefully very soon with construction.
Right. Well, what a testament to partnerships
Right.
and to the school board and to all the work that has gone into this to know that what a neat facility we're going to have to add to this park. So let's talk a little bit about what kind of amenities the building will have.
Certainly. So it's a restroom for the park users, and it's going to include a men's and a women's restroom facility. It'll also have a nice addition of a multi-use space. It could be a meeting room, it could be a concessions area, so it'll be a nice enclosed space for that, and as well as a porch, a sheltered cover that we possibly can put some picnic tables under and just have another area to get out of this sun during the summer months at least. So
Well, very good.
it's going to be, I think, a very nice facility for restrooms and highlight this park.
Sure. What an enhancement. Well, when the project is complete, what kind of impact is it going to have?
Our park right now, we have typically 2 or 3 festivals or events that the community puts on at this facility throughout the year, and we hope that just continues to grow. We really hope the community embraces the city by putting this facility on site and embraces that and wants to program even more and offer more community events, expand on festivals and activities. So it's definitely a benefit. It's for the community, it's for the park users, and we hope to bring even more people to this beautiful site. It's a lot of space, open space, a lot of activity can take place out here. We do have a nice gazebo as well that often users will come out and have a family get together or a birthday party. So it's going to be excellent to have a restroom on site and be enjoyed by all.
Absolutely, and again, just an enhancement
Certainly.
for the park and the programs that will be programmed out here. And if you haven't been to Perry Park, I encourage everybody to come out and see this expansive, beautiful park. Such a wonderful example of green space to come and fly a kite, throw a frisbee, just to enjoy an afternoon. So another great example of a capital project sales tax. So Jessica, as always, we love having you on Aiken this week.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Appreciate
taking
it.
a few minutes.
Absolutely.
Well, I am here with Joy Gillespie, who is the Capital Project Sales Tax Manager for the City of Aiken. And Joy, we have just seen 3 completed Capital Project Sales Tax initiatives and one that is getting ready to get underway at Perry Park. And it was really just a lot of fun to go out and see these finished projects and to really feel like what the impact is for the community. So I know that you're very excited to have these projects mostly under your belt.
Yes.
And but we have some that are on the horizon. So could you just tell us very briefly about what we can expect?
Sure. The next 2 projects that you will see some progress on are going to be the Eustis Park Community Center as well as the Northside Recreation Park. Both of these projects are under design currently, and the design should be complete by the end of the year with the design specs to go out for bid around the first part of January 2017, and the follow-up for construction will be in the spring of 2017.
So that, I mean, right around the corner, and it was really impressive to see how fast, once these projects got into their mode and things got pushed through, really how fast that they did complete, and everything was pretty much on time. And so I know that these are much bigger projects.
Yes, they are.
That we're going to be working with, but some really exciting things coming online. And hopefully in the next couple of months we can get back together and really take a visit and a look at what those parks are going to mean for our community.
It's exciting.
It is. Good times.
Great.
Well, we're wrapping up our Capital Project Sales Tax show today, and we hope that you've enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time for Aiken This Week.